movies and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
What's going on, everybody? Okay. Good stuff today. We're gonna... What we do? If you didn't listen last week, we had no idea what we were doing. This week we have a definite plan.
Yes,
Right?
We'll see how that goes.
But we actually arranged this days in advance and, put a plan in motion and are executing it now. This is the way it's supposed to be.
And followed
Yes.
through. And any of
I
you
have
that are still
notes.
listening, hey.
I have notes, people. Notes.
Okay. As promised, we're doing a new... I guess it's a new segment because we'll do it again. So, here's the premise, right?
Yes, go ahead, set it up. I think this segment's called Second Chance Movies, just because you didn't say the name of the segment.
I didn't know that's what it's called. I was calling it REWATCH.
Oh, well, then it's called Rewatch. Whatever you want it to be called.
Whatever
If
we
we're
call
going to do
whatever.
rewatch, we need to make a bumper instead of the Baywatch theme.
Okay, I can work on that.
Okay, there may be a bumper before the segment. There may not. We'll see when we get there. That's all done in post.
See,
so anyway,
I would do this. I would call this the K principle. That's what I would call the segment. Because this is the question, whether something can retroactively get better, correct?
Well, I don't even know that this is retroactively get better. I think it's... So, I don't know. We're dancing around the premise here. The premise is something that one of us really didn't like. We're going to have them rewatch it and see if their opinion changed. So it wasn't so much retroactively getting better because something else made it better.
I don't think that. So
it's more about...
Because
Barry hated something... And he gave it a year and went back and rewatched it. And maybe he either hated it as much or maybe didn't hate it quite as much or maybe he liked it.
And then those of us who hypothetically liked it the first time around gave it another try again and to see where we sit with it.
Yeah, because I think because last week we were talking about which ones to watch. So I think if we're going to do this as a segment from time to time, it's got to be one person doesn't like it, and the other two do like it, and that person has to rewatch it. I think that should be...
Or the gap, there has to be a substantial gap between that one person and the others. Whether they're wild about the movie or not, it's got to be something that we're really got to be forcing someone to watch something they don't want to rewatch.
And we gave Barry a lot of crap about Terminator Dark Fate, which we're going to talk about, and we'll get to that later. But... we'll see. We'll see what he thinks. I mean, I don't know. I just literally just rewatched it. Almost only moments ago.
It could be very interesting as a segment, or it could be very
we'll see.
Anticlimactic. But we shall see.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll do that. We're going to talk about. So it's episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett because there's stuff happened. There'll be spoilers on all this stuff. If you haven't seen Dark Fate or episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett, stop now, go watch them, come back. But let's go some random. Who wants to go?
I'll go.
There you go.
I got a couple things. So I wanted to mention an upcoming convention in my area. Sort of in Dave's area, called Wintercon. It has historically not been the greatest show ever, but we've actually had met some good guests there.
There's been over the years. Sometimes it's been or just like, what am I doing here? Sometimes there's a good collection of guests.
But even when they have good guests, it's never crowded. So you don't wait a long time. Yeah. But this year, I while we're still kind of in hopefully the tail end of the pandemic. They had originally scheduled this thing for December. They moved it now to March 12th and 13th. But they've got an Aliens reunion of sorts going on there. They've got Michael Biehn, who was Hicks, and he was also in Terminator. They got Jeanette Goldstein, who was Vasquez, and she was also in T2. Mark Ralston, who was Drake. William Pope, who was Gorman. and Rico Ross, who was Private Frost. That's not a bad grouping of people from Aliens.
That's not a bad group at all.
And Tasha Yar, Denise Crosby's going to be there. And the amazing Kreskin. I mean,
that's
what is he doing?
Ben the Spoon for me.
That is random.
Yeah, that is very random.
Is he the guy who Ben Spoons? I don't know.
I don't know. But, like, as long as it's not, like, ridiculous, like, crazy pandemic stuff, I'm going to this because...
Yeah, me too.
It's a good group.
We're going away then, but I don't know if we are. But I want to go too. And I just, it's funny. It was on the not RPF, on the Star Wars Autograph Universe. I hadn't noticed the first go around, but they did have prices. Most people, except for Michael Biehn, are $40.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's great. I mean,
there's little. If you look on the pictures, in the corner, there's a little price.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I've got autographs from 3 of these people already, but I'm missing 2 of them on my Aliens poster, and I definitely would look forward to getting them. So,
I think, and I have to go upstairs and check. I think I have, and I know I have an original Aliens press kit. I've told you the whole press kit story. If I haven't, we'll save it for another time. And I think I have a couple original Aliens posters. I think the black one that just says Aliens on it.
Right.
I think that would be good to get signed. I don't know where the hell it's going. I don't even remember if I actually have it. Because to me, the Sigourney Weaver one, and maybe you'll talk me out of this, is it like, hey, 3rd-tier level Aliens people, do you want to sign this big picture of Sigourney Weaver? I mean...
Well, that's what I did. I mean, I've got the same poster, and I have 6 signatures on it. I mean, Sigourney is clearly the main person, but I have a bunch of the other Alien cast members on there, and to me that... I don't want to have another Aliens poster. So
No. I know. I'm just debating whether I want to have that one signed.
I don't think any of them are under any illusion that she's not the star of the movie. So
I was just going to say, I don't think anyone is going to be crushed by the disappointment that you didn't travel there just to see them, and that they're.
Well, let's face it. I mean, an Aliens poster
incidental
without. I'm sorry, I was stepping on what you were saying, Todd. An Aliens poster without Sigourney Weaver is incomplete, but. If you've got Sigourney, anybody else you add to it just makes it that much better to me.
I feel like she's potential to get again. I didn't get her on that poster. I got her on something else. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I'd love to get freaking Paul Reiser.
I know, and he's actually done some shows too.
I feel like he's attainable,
I'm hoping after all this... I mean, even Carrie Henn is done shows.
Yeah, we've seen her at something.
I've never seen her at anything, otherwise I would have gotten her. But, yeah, I mean...
I think I was at something she was at.
I feel like, those people... I mean, I remember a couple of years back, pre-COVID, there was like an Aliens convention up in Canada, and they were all there. Like, every living cast member was there.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was weird. But, so anyway, I just thought I'd mention it just because, since Rhode Island, there hasn't been anything that we've really considered going to, but I'm definitely going to go to this one.
Yeah, we got good Blade Runner people signed.
Good timing too. Yes.
On right, and then Rutger Hauer passed away not long after. And that was easy. I've
actually gotten a bunch of good autographs at that show from a lot of people. So
yeah, we've got Tom Skerritt was there. A lot of people. So check that out.
Yeah.
Todd, what do you got?
Okay. So about a year ago, our friend Sean suggested the show Resident Alien, which wasn't on my radar at all and was one of my favorite things from last year. So this past week, Sean suggested a show on HBO called Beforeigners. Have either of you guys heard about this?
No.
Okay.
I've heard of it, and I've got it in my queue of things to watch, and I have yet to watch it.
It's Finnish. You can watch it dubbed. Okay. I don't think I've ever watched anything Finnish.
It's finished already?
I don't think I've watched anything Finnish.
Did you start it yet?
Finland.
Oh.
It's from Finland.
So you guys remember Alien Nation?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this very much feels like Alien Nation, but with people displaced in time. Okay? There's these people who are displaced in time. Okay? This isn't a big spoiler because it happens immediately in the beginning. And then they have to reintegrate into society. And
oh, I heard about this.
One guy's a cop, and he's partnered with a woman who's a Viking. And it's really good. I watched the first season this weekend. I watched the first 6 episodes this weekend.
Did you watch Ted Lasso?
I got to stop you for a second, though. All the things we talked about last week that you said you were going to watch, and you go and watch some other show.
How was Ted Lasso?
Moved something.
How was Ozark?
Sean moved something right to the front of the queue, and I have let him do that before, and I have not regretted it. So, yes, those other things are still on the list. I really, really like this. This show, and again, I'm not going to tell you anything more about it. There's some really good stuff in here, some good surprises. It's on IMDb, it's 7.8 out of 10, and it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I can't find anybody that's heard about
Finland voting for it.
So, anyways, Google 93%. So, check it out. I think it's really good. Again, I've read a couple of reviews that have mentioned the Alien Nation because I think it's pretty obvious.
Read the comic?
The scenes of these two driving around through the streets and seeing these people, displaced people, just like is very much like even the opening of the Alien Nation TV series. But
I never watched the TV series. I only saw the movie.
I did watch the series. I kind of liked it, and but it's good, and it's definitely worth checking out. And the Viking woman lead is surprisingly hot. Okay, so
surprisingly hot. Finnish Viking.
Yep.
What are two of my most favorite things?
Tim Burton and animated shows.
Yes.
Excellent.
Barry, you took the words right out of my mouth.
What's the opposite of those? I like space.
Yes.
And I like Tom Cruise. And he's making a movie in space.
Yeah, that he'll release in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. I'm just saying, after he does, but they're going to film on the International Space Station. Only Tom Cruise could do that.
And he's going up there.
Sounds like it. Part of it, most of it will be filmed on Earth. Part of it will be filmed on the International Space Station. And the other part will be in a rocket. I love this. Well, I wonder if he's going to be on the outside of the rocket.
He should be. He should be strapped onto it while it's taking off.
He'll be and it's actually him playing a live-action version of the Coyote and Roadrunner. He's going to strap himself to a rocket.
Is it going to say TNT on the side of it?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I just thought that was cute. Gotta love Tom. All right.
Did you see him this weekend during the sports ball game?
No.
He opened up...
What ball?
He opened up one of the football games. I saw the clip on YouTube. It was intercut with footage from Top Gun, and he was talking about how football players are like fighter pilots or something. I don't know.
No, they're not.
No.
I watched the Australian Open final. I didn't see him there.
No, he was on football.
Yeah, not interesting.
Yeah. It's good to promote a movie that's not coming out, though. That's good.
Yeah. Well, I think Top Gun is still coming out, isn't it?
They're both coming out. Just be patient.
Well, I'm not even that excited about Top Gun, to be honest with you. But
I'm not that excited either, but I'll see it. Barry, do you have anything else?
I do. Just wanted to mention the Lost in Space prop auction is starting February 2nd. So by the time this show goes up, the auction will be underway.
It's an online auction.
It's an online auction, so it goes from the February 2nd to February 16th. They still don't have the catalog out. I guess they're waiting.
Oh, really? I was just going to ask you that because
they have a gallery of 10 items,
like 10
preview items. But the auction is supposed to be 100 original props and costumes and set decorations. So not a huge, not like 100, 200, 300 lots, but 100 lots, I guess. And I've been waiting for the catalog just to see what's in it. I mean, I don't necessarily expect that I would buy anything from it, but I am curious to see it. So by the time this goes live, that auction should be underway and the catalog should be available on propstore.com.
There you go. Ty, you have anything else?
Good.
Let me ask you a question. And I don't know anything about Halo, other than I know it's a game. But did you guys see the trailer?
Yeah, I had that on my list and I decided not to talk about it. But this is good, so let's talk about it.
I don't know anything about
I played
the game.
I played the game, the early games. I played the first couple of Halos, and then I lost interest. My son Josh, though, played all of them and still plays them.
The trailer looked pretty good. It's had a very Starship Troopers sort of meets.
That's what this is, yeah.
And it looked like
Navy SEALs,
like Mandalorian quality, like the way they put it together. Like it looked like it was maybe like a volume type production or something. Because
I don't know.
It had a lot of exteriors.
Now, this Master Chief guy, does he like always in his suit and you don't see who he is?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
that's it's been done.
Well, I mean, yes, but I mean, Halo did it a long time ago. They're just finally they've been trying to make a Halo movie or a Halo TV show.
They've done an animated thing
for 20 years.
They've done a bunch of the CGI thing.
I would check it out. It looks cool. It looks interesting.
Yeah, I thought the trailer looked good.
The premise.
I looked at
They're
the
good
cast.
Guys. Is he a good guy?
He's a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I looked at the cast, Sentinels, and there's nobody in that cast other than, and I'm gonna maybe butcher this, but Natasha McElhorn.
Oh,
you know who she is, Todd.
Oh, yeah, the blonde lady.
Yeah, she was on Californication. So she's in the cast. I don't know who she plays, but I didn't recognize a single other person in the cast. But it's basically that there's an alien race
of this guy
that comes in, and they're decimating humans, and humans have to fight back. And Master Chief and his crew are like the guys that are super trained to fight these aliens. And from what I saw in the trailer, all the vehicles, all the weapons, it's all right out of the game. So I mean, from that perspective, it looks very true to the game. But I don't know.
The question for me is: do you find a new audience for this, or do you get people that are used to being active to be passive?
It's a good question. Now, my son Josh, like I said, is a super fan of this stuff, and I texted him the trailer and I said, "Did you see it?" And he said, "Yep." And then he said, "I don't know how I feel about it." So he should be their audience, and he was maybe not.
See, but I don't know that's true, because like The Witcher has a really good audience and a strong following, but the people that play the game are pretty indifferent to it. And the game sold extremely well, and there's 3 versions, and they've done great, and I know people that have played them and rave about them. I've tried myself. I just don't get that interested in it, but I really like the series, and so I wonder whether this is going to be like that, where it's just taking the franchise and pushing it out to a different audience, as opposed to trying to satisfy the existing audience, which I just, like I said, I don't see that switch going from active to passive working.
I think it's even like the Marvel movies. I mean, no offense, it wasn't made for the comic audience because there's not a huge one. It's a property that's successful and maybe it'll translate to other people.
And that's what I'm saying. If it's more identification, more understanding the cultural consciousness of it than actually having an affinity for it.
But if it's good storytelling, then it'll find an audience.
Right.
And it may not find the game audience, but maybe it finds a new audience.
Yeah.
There's that Bokeem Woodbine. He was the bad guy in the first Spider-Man. Yep. I recognize him.
Okay.
And then there's some guy, Pablo Schreiber, who plays Master Chief. It looks probably only his voice, maybe. I really know. Anyway, I'll check it out. I don't know anything about it, but
I think and I could be wrong about this. I could be also conflating Gears of War and Halo because they were similar in some ways, but I don't think Master Chief ever takes his helmet off, or at least he didn't in the earlier games. Maybe he did later.
He's got that Judge Dredd kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is it sort of this is the way? Is that this?
I don't know. I think that you only ever in the game you only ever really saw him on missions and
in gameplay, and that's where I think this will be interesting to see whether he kicks back and
maybe there were cutscenes where he took it off. I really don't.
Everything
remember.
is consumed through a straw.
There you go. I know, right? Okay, so that's it. Any other random?
Nope.
Check out Fanboy Collectibles. No segue. No segue needed. Couple new Hot Toys Mandalorian figures. No shocker there. Koska Reeves and Axe Wolves Mandalorian. More figures. You're gonna have the whole cast.
We're gonna do do a deeper dive at the Hot Toys stuff in the near future, but I think hands down Mandalorian is the property that has the most, right? Unless you break the Marvel stuff, unless you clump the Marvel stuff together. But
I think in aggregate they've released so much Star Wars over the years that there's probably still more from the original trilogy and whatever, but Mandalorian. But I'm saying that's a ton of releases.
If you look at each movie as a property, okay, I think Mando is, then there's more Mando than anything else.
And we'll talk about that when we do Hot Toys a Minute, not in the commercial. Also, Witcher statues. Check those out if you're into that. Those actually look cool. I don't like the show, but those are cool. The Batman Pops already out. There's a Catwoman and there's a Riddler, I believe. But they got everything. What else? Sideshow and Kotobukiya stuff, and I don't know, anything you need. Those guys are ready to send you stuff that you want, and you know you want it. So
if you collect it, they have it.
FanboyCollectibles.com. Check them out. They're starting in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you. Sorry to be a jerk and cut you off, but we had to get to the commercial.
Why not?
We'll talk Hot Toys on a future show.
Yeah,
lots to talk about there.
Okay, Book of the Mandalorian, Episode 5,
or was it Episode 3 of Mandalorian Season 3? I mean, it certainly felt like an episode of Mando, not Book of Boba Fett.
Spoilers, just there'll be spoilers. I mean, the scary thing is
this removes any doubt for me why Ming-Na Wen thought she was filming Season 3 of Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly.
If they did this right on the heels of Season 2, it's perfectly understandable that she thought she was filming The Mandalorian.
I would think so, yeah.
Collectively, what has she been in the actual other episodes? Like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
You know. But it's scary that the best episode is not about Boba Fett.
Yeah, I know. People have said it's Boba Fett in title only this episode.
Oh, yeah, and that is one of the things, too, that with this, it really shows the weakness of the series. And I'm sorry to be that negative, but it's like when you're just like, yeah, this is great, this is terrific. Oh, yeah, it's a Boba Fett show.
Well, okay, that aside, where are they going? I mean, obviously, is this going to be an all-out Mandalorians? Well, I don't know. Again, spoilers, he's sort of disowned by the Mandalorians.
Well, by some of them. He's disowned by his covert, which is really just two people at this point. And
what's her face?
Bo-Katan and her crew?
No. Who's the armorer?
Oh.
What's her name in real life?
Oh, Emily Swallow, yeah.
Emily Swallow was like, I'm like, I hope I see you again. She's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I know. We talked to her about whether we'd be seeing her again.
Why wouldn't she tell us?
Absolutely already filmed this by last November.
Yeah, and she's got an NDA, so...
Yeah. No, I know.
It's yeah.
So I did read something I thought was very interesting today, and I actually think I tend to agree with it. They were saying if instead of the whole flashback thing, if they had told the story that as we know it so far in the first 4 episodes of Book of Boba Fett, if they had told us that story chronologically, rather than jumping back and forth, would it have actually been a better way to present the material?
And
because
also,
you would have actually understood his motivations better.
And if they put all the flashback stuff in one episode and made that a flashback episode, whether that would have worked better than just kind of dragging it out and it feeling dragged out.
If episode 1 opened with him fighting his way out of the Sarlacc, and then he went and lived with the Tuskens, and then you saw him take over, for Bib Fortuna, and then you saw him up to the point where he's fighting the Pikes, and now the Mandalorian's going to maybe it's hard. It's hard to say.
I have no problem. I just have a problem with him being kind of weak in the whole thing. I mean, it's not horrible. It's fine.
I'm enjoying the show. I don't want to go out saying that I don't like it. I do like it, certainly more than some other people that we've talked with. But
yeah, I will say my biggest thing right now with this show is this is a huge freaking galaxy, and we spend way too much time in Tatooine. This is actually getting me a little worried for
second Tatooine show
for Kenobi.
It's right, because Kenobi takes place on Tatooine also.
He's going to get off the planet quick.
What's the story? Yeah,
how
about Tales of the Jawas? That's coming soon.
Yeah, that's what I'm just saying. And now the Tusken series, but it just seems like we love sand, and we're just going to spend as much time in the dune as we can. And
that's interesting, yeah.
What I would just echo something that you said, Todd, and maybe position it slightly differently. I don't know that it shows the weakness of the show for me. I think what it does show is the strength of The Mandalorian, because when you put an episode like this after 4 episodes of Boba Fett, it just shows how much I think The Mandalorian is a better show. Doesn't mean
I wonder if it
I don't like
also
Boba
shows
Fett, but
they're all coming together. I mean, you see it as one big thing. I mean, Boba Fett and what's her face Fennec were in Mando. Now it's all coming together. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that we're in for, and I'm curious if, and big spoilers, people, I don't know if we're actually going to see Mando go off and see Grogu and Luke in the next episode. We may not see that until the Mandalorian season.
That was my question.
We're not going to. No, I do wonder. This is a teaser. It just, when you've only got this few episodes, I think it's almost a slap in the face of the series to devote it entirely to another character. Okay? I mean...
But keep in mind, they originally said this was 6 episodes. Then they said it was 7. I think this episode got thrown in there as the 7th episode. I think that they added an episode to the season.
They said 7? I didn't hear that.
This is 7 episodes this season. Originally, they said 6. So I have a feeling they added an episode to make sure this all fit in there.
And that people didn't bail. So, like, there's Mandalorian coming. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, you know, if I watched an episode of The Flash and, you know, Oliver Queen showed up and we never actually saw The Flash in that whole episode and they never talked about him and they never, until they show up and they said, oh, Barry needs help. It's not a Flash episode. And that's where this is. And you know, I know we like it because it's The Mandalorian, but it just seems like a huge diversion from this storyline. And, you know, and
he's coming to help. I get, I'm with you.
I don't think he's in that different.
But if he just showed up in the Naboo Starfighter when he comes to help Mando, wouldn't you be like, where the hell did that?
But I'm saying he didn't have to do that. We saw him flying commercial. Okay,
he could have come on the bus, just like
he can show up anywhere. He can walk into town and no one's going to question it. It's like, you called, I'm here. Okay, we didn't need an episode setting up his showing up. Okay, we did not need that. Okay,
but it was awesome.
If the curtain pulls back and he steps out, okay, everyone's happy. They took an episode out of this show to go back to him.
Potsy and Richie are getting beat up, and Fonzie and Carmine Ragusa show up out of the lockers, just like
and
that.
And he's wearing the Mamba shirt. It's like, yep.
All of that said, it was an awesome episode.
When did they announce that it was going to be 7 episodes?
They said it at the beginning of the season, but
they
before
did.
the season ever came out, they had said 6.
I didn't hear that. I thought it was 6 episodes, the whole time.
Yes.
Yeah. I do remember.
Do you think are they filming Mandalorian now and they put this together to sort of save people from this show?
I think this was all in the can for a very long time.
This is what I was wondering. So Mando saying, "I'll help you, but I got to go see Grogu with his chainmail pajamas."
If these shows were airing concurrently, this is the episode that sets up the crossover.
Yeah.
Okay. I just feel like it was weird. I mean, I liked it if you took it for what it was, and it really was the next episode of The Mandalorian. But it's like, it's just odd. It was odd, and particularly
did you not
when,
like it though?
What's that?
Did you not like it?
Oh no,
it sounds like you
I'm
didn't
saying
like it.
I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I enjoyed it more than anything we've seen so far. Because I like The Mandalorian, I like the character. This was very true to the character. I was a little iffy on bringing The Mandalorian in because then you make him a background character. But what happens now, you bring him in, is he on an even footing with Boba Fett in Boba Fett's series? You got to give equal screen time to the two of them?
But they kind of did that in the Mando series when Boba Fett was pretty prominent.
No, they didn't.
Totally
if you go back
prominent.
And you watch those episodes, Boba Fett becomes a bit player very quickly. And
interesting.
And that's what they probably should have done with Mando, but I think they can't. I think he's bigger than that now.
I'm just curious if we go see Grogu and Luke, because I want to see that. That's all I want to see.
I just can't imagine that they're going to take 2 episodes away from Boba Fett to do that.
Oh yeah, I don't know. They're not gonna.
You think it should be all right? Let's kill these fish people, and then I'll go see them.
The only reason that they would do that is if he somehow needs Luke to come back with him and help fight the Pikes, which I don't think is going to happen.
Do you realize? Okay, you guys are now speculating what the Mandalorian is going to be doing in the middle of this freaking show that is not related at all to the plot of this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, but
that's how
they set it up for us.
How unattached you are to this show.
No, that's not true. Look, all kidding aside,
you're not talking about how the Mandalorian's going to fit into this plot. You're talking about how they can get out of the plot and move on.
No. There have been some amazing shows that have had more than one character that was a focal point of the show. So, right now, up till this first 4 episodes, it was all about Boba Fett. Now they have introduced this character in, and there are lots of shows that have more than one character that are the focal point for a period of time. Right now, they've brought this in. They can't just ignore it now.
Yeah, you say that, Barry, but I cannot think of a show named after an individual where it's like Starsky wasn't Starsky and Hutch, wasn't Starsky, and then they brought Hutch in on episode 6, and they just went from there. Okay, it's like this is midstream. They brought in a character as big or bigger.
Why did
but
they
you're
do
talking
that,
about
though?
a show that was... This show is a spin-off from The Mandalorian to begin with. You can bring The Mandalorian back in for an episode or 2 and have him be a major part of the show, and then have him drop out again.
Go back in TV history and name your spin-off. Name your spin-off show where the main character from the show it was spun off came in and squeezed the character in the spin-off out of an episode. It's never happened.
Okay, but it doesn't mean that there haven't been many shows where there was a main character and then they brought in another character and that person was a focal point for an episode or 2 and then they went away again. Happens all the time.
This sounds like the Beatles argument again.
Yeah, I think so too. I can't think.
I just wonder why they did this.
What show are you talking about?
I didn't have a specific one in mind, but I know it happens all the time.
I don't think it does.
Okay, so Breaking Bad.
Okay.
There were entire shows about Gus Fring, and then there were entire shows about Walter White, and then there was entire shows about Mike and his situation. And there were lots of episodes where...
Yep. Absolutely. None of those, but at no point in Breaking Bad, in Better Call Saul, has there been a Walter White episode where you didn't see Saul at all. Okay? And that's where I'm saying this is different. I'm saying this is a spin-off. It's
different, but...
I'm saying not a character for within the show. You're not shifting focus on a character within the show. You're bringing the character that's spun off in and supplanting the character the show is about.
Okay, but that's Jon Favreau and Dave. That's the genius of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni.
I kind of agree. I mean, it's a little out of context. They could have mixed and matched it a little bit, but why'd they do this? Is it's coming down? It is very disjointed.
So Dave, you're the one that was saying Boba Fett's weaker than he should be, and I agree with that. Do you make him stronger by sidelining him for an episode?
No, and you know what's... If you look at it by...
You might, by what happens in season 6. I mean, in episode 6. Maybe what comes after this does make him stronger. We won't know that until after we see it.
Here's the thing that
which does not show me makes me stronger. I think Nietzsche said that. Go ahead.
In Boba Fett, it has been weak, and he's basically... Not that I want to see a ton of killing, but he's killed nobody, really. I mean, he's not gotten into any fights where he either didn't get his ass kicked or offer someone a job. And I'm thinking,
he disintegrated a guy in episode 2, but okay.
I'm saying since he's sort of been in power, he's not doing a ton of stuff.
Okay.
You know, he should be wiping out. But I'm thinking, is Disney sort of like, let's pull back on the killing? But freaking Mando kills everybody.
Okay. Chops a guy in half. And brings his head
just
in
for a second here.
So what's the story here?
Since Dave, you evoked Happy Days in this. Okay, let's go back to the Fonzie rule. Okay, Fonzie was cool and Fonzie was tough, but no one actually ever saw Fonzie beat up anybody or anything like that. But he had a reputation.
No, that's not true.
He had a reputation.
You have to have a reputation if someone have seen you do it.
That's what I'm saying. He had the reputation. Nothing has happened in this that's added to Boba Fett's reputation at this point.
I agree with that.
Okay, and bringing in a stronger guy.
Wait a second. No, that's not true at all.
Okay, no. Let's put in context of in the show. In the show, nobody on Mos Espa or wherever the hell they are really knows who Boba Fett is. He's been gone for years. Okay. He's in the Sarlacc pit.
I heard you were.
Shall I remind you? He went into that bar and beat up all those bikers. He derailed the entire train and took out all those members of the Pikes. And then in the last episode that he was in, he took his ship and flew across the desert and shot at and killed all those bikers. Like, you telling me he didn't kill anybody? He's killed a ton of people. But
since he's been in power, nobody knows what he's done capable of.
They will by the end of this series. I'm telling you, they will. This a war is coming.
It's disjointed. And who's going to be in the war? I mean, we need muscle. You got Mando. Mando does not have other Mandalorians, really. I mean, unless you count Katie Sackhoff and her buddies there.
I was a little disappointed that we saw the heavy armor Mando guy, Mandalorian guy, like, be distanced from him in this, because I kind of was hoping that he was going to be one of the reserves they called in.
Paz Vizsla.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping he would be.
I wonder who else they call in.
Yeah.
Who's out? I mean, is it going to be like, is this the crossover? We get Ahsoka Tano.
We also did this at the end of the last season of Mandalorian, right? Didn't we call in all our chips and everybody came in and
But that was the Mandalorian.
But what I'm saying is, if this show is now going to do the same thing in the last couple episodes, it's like, here's every character you've ever heard of. Let's call them back. Or
I don't think that's going to happen.
in to cut up a bunch of fish people. And that's what
I'm saying. It's pretty much got to be focus on the three of them, and then the runaways. And we'll see. I am really hoping that we're surprised here, and I that he's playing some kind of long game that we just don't see.
I hope so too.
I think I will be. Put it this way, I'm being very supportive of it because I wholeheartely believe it's going somewhere and it's going to have a big payoff. If it doesn't, I will be singing a different story at the end of this season. But I'm holding on to the hope that this isn't all, going to have like no major payoff. There's got to be a major payoff here.
Okay, so I'm going to throw a little speculative thing out there. Do we know that the entire tribe of Tuskens that he hung out with was slaughtered?
They haven't done a head count, so we don't know for
sure.
No,
but what I'm saying, did we see the black robed one that trained him dead?
No,
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm wondering whether, like, where this is right, we just see like Tuskens. We see this person show up, and Tuskens as far as the eye can see.
Yeah, it could be tribes of Tuskens. It could be Mando. It's going to be Boba Fett riding a Rancor. That's what's been in his back pocket
this whole time. Was that
but we haven't seen
Mando's
these
a misdirection, and then the Pikes think they're going to take on these two would-be Mandalorians, and then like the Tuskens from the whole planet show up.
But to me, the Pikes don't. I mean, there's no like weight to their being the bad guy.
Yeah,
they hired some biker guys. You see them coming off. They're jerks. They had the train, but they don't seem so bad. Like, what are they doing? I know they're doing. It doesn't seem like a.
Well, the Hutts obviously think that they're bad guys because the Hutts are getting out of town before the Pike army shows up. But the Hutts aren't easily intimidated.
I mean, Star Wars, the history of Star Wars is iconic villains, and
yeah,
if you have to explain who somebody is before you deal with that menace in real time, it's.
But Star Wars in movies is iconic villains. Star Wars on TV can't be quite as iconic villains.
They could have set these villains up a little better.
I think they they made Moff Gideon. They established Moff Gideon very well.
I totally agree with that.
Okay,
yeah.
I think even the dude that sold Grogu was established as a bad guy. They made it pretty clear. They went old school on that.
Yeah, sure.
I think we don't know what a Pike looks like.
And they've just shown they've hired some bikers to do some nonsense.
Yeah,
okay. I think there's more to it than that.
But no, that's what I'm saying. We are Barry. We're driving down expectations so that we can be blown away by where they go from this.
Have the Pikes been established as quality villains?
Yes,
to you?
But you haven't watched 10 seasons of animated Star Wars to know about the Pikes.
Neither is most of the people watching this, so that doesn't count.
I think
doesn't. Todd, did you watch that stuff?
I will say that Pikes did not resonate with me in the series. I remember the references to them and whatnot, but I remember the Mandalore stuff really well. I remember, it's. Yeah.
Well, the Pikes were also in your least favorite Star Wars movie, Todd. They were in Solo. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
they were? I don't even remember them.
They were referenced, right?
No, they were the ones at the spice mines of Kessel. They were the people running that facility.
We saw them?
So they run spice mines. That's not making bad guys.
Okay. They're drug dealers. The spice is drugs.
Oh, is it? I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
Yes, spice is drugs. Spice equals drugs in Star Wars.
I did know that. It's actually.
I thought it was something that makes your eyes blue.
So.
No, that's Dune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Getting back to this episode
the Pikes
for a moment.
Yes.
I do think though that whether it needed to be done in this series or not, this I think is setting up a major plot, probably the main plot for all of season 3 of Mandalorian. Right?
Who has the sword?
I think it's not so much who has the sword because he doesn't want it. He never wanted
That's
it. Right?
What I'm saying. It's
willing
like,
to
how
give
do you
it
get
away.
rid of this thing that you don't want that you can't give away?
But it'll be interesting to see if he follows the quest that the armor is kind of laying out for him, which is, I mean, it seemed to me like she was very willing to banish him because she really wants him to go back to Mandalore and regain power. I don't think he wants that though. So it'll be interesting to see.
Do you think that's the case, or you think she's just like got this kind of she's part of a cult and they have this very. So these people.
No, I think there's more to it than that. I think that there's a belief throughout the galaxy that Mandalore was laid waste, and she's basically saying that you need to go back to the rivers under the mines of Mandalore or whatever. All right, I took some notes on the history of the Darksaber. If you want to just indulge me for a minute.
Sure, go for it.
Because I know Dave doesn't have all this in him because he didn't watch all the animated stuff. So, Mandalorians became pacifists, right? The warriors that remained were exiled to the moon of Concordia. Then there was this Night of 1,000 Tears where the Empire basically came in and laid waste to Mandalore, which we saw the flashback in this episode with all the TIE bombers and whatever. The domed cities were destroyed. Pre-Vizsla was one of the Mandos on the moon of Concordia. He makes an alliance with Darth Maul, and then Maul double-crosses him, kills Pre-Vizsla, and takes the Darksaber. So Pre-Vizsla had the Darksaber. Yes. Darth Maul kills him, takes it. Bo-Katan, who's leads the insurrection against Darth Maul. Maul kills her sister, who was Obi-Wan's girlfriend, by the way.
Yes.
And
unacknowledged, yes.
Unacknowledged, right. Ahsoka comes in at that point and helps Bo-Katan liberate Mandalore, and then the Darksaber disappears for 10 years. The Darksaber is rediscovered by Sabine Wren in Rebels.
In the Well of Souls.
In the Well of Souls, not quite. So Sabine ends up with the Darksaber. She wins it in a duel. Sabine gives it to Bo-Katan. Bo didn't win it, which is why they reference that Bo wasn't rightfully the holder of it because she didn't win it in battle. So now Bo-Katan has it. She loses it to Moff Gideon. That's how Moff Gideon gets it. When he leads that Night of 1,000 Tears, he was the guy that led that raid on Mandalore, devastated Mandalore, and he gets the Darksaber back from Bo-Katan. That's why at the end of Mandalorian Season 2, when Gideon is there, Bo-Katan says she wants to go fight Moff Gideon so that she can win it rightfully and have it, so then she can go back and be the ruler of Mandalore. But Mando ends up doing it.
He has to fight him, and yeah.
Right, so Mando ends up doing it. He has the Darksaber. He doesn't really want it. Another interesting point is that the armorer may have actually been one of Darth Maul's followers, because if you notice on the top of her helmet, there's spikes.
Yes.
And a lot of the Mandalorians that followed Maul had put spikes.
Darth Maul cult, yes.
Yeah. Right. So all of that leads to... She knows an awful lot about the history of the Darksaber. To me, it's either that they're going to somehow try to get him to go back and either take that over, or we might actually see that could be where Boba Fett goes.
I don't think we'll say that.
Okay, so
does Boba Fett end up
clarify
being...
one point. Ladies, for those of you listening at home and are very excited, Barry is spoken for. Okay.
Yeah, taken.
Sorry, taken. Okay.
No, I needed to go through this myself, which is why I wrote the notes down, because I was trying to make sure I understood the lineage here and how it passed from person to person.
Yeah.
But
I will say 3% of that matters to this show because most people will never take that deep a dive to it.
Well, but where it matters is you've got Bo-Katan, who's not going away, right? She's going to be back, and she wants the Saber.
I think what we got from that episode of Mandalorian is probably most of what we're going to get about that.
I agree with that.
I don't think so. I think that the dark clearly the training with the Darksaber, the fact that he cut himself with it, he could barely lift it at certain points.
I know, that was funny. Like everyone always says, if you had a lightsaber, you cut your own leg off. And he almost did.
He's either going to get some training by Luke, and he's going to learn how to use it, and he's going to wield it the right way, or he's going to lose it in battle, and it's going to end up somehow that Darksaber is going to be some plot line for either Mando season 3, or even if they do a Bo-Katan series. They're not just going to. They didn't set all this up to just let it. Oh, that's enough about that. We won't talk about that anymore.
Oh no. We'll see that.
Do you want to see him being trained by Luke?
No, I don't think he needs to be trained by Luke. He's not going to be a Jedi.
But I want them to leave the Luke thing alone. I really do. I know. I'm so happy with where they left that.
Which is why I don't think we need to see him go see Grogu and Luke either.
I don't either. Yeah.
Unless he sees Grogu and Luke is like off in a shadow somewhere, and you don't actually, the de-aged Luke thing. As good as they can do it, it's still. I don't want to see like whole scenes and action scenes.
That's what I'm saying. I agree. I also feel like unless they just really cave into the marketing people, I think they can move on from Grogu. So what is with Beskar that like you can have a little stack of chips and you can make a suit of armor out of it, or you can have a big honking spear and you can make something you can wrap up in a
I didn't get that she used the whole spear for that.
Tiny piece of the
spear. She just used a piece of it for that.
Okay.
I just bought a Beskar spear, and now they destroyed it. Yeah. I didn't buy one. I was thinking about it. There's a guy who makes a good one.
It looks like she made chainmail. Is what it looked like.
Yeah, it's going to be a little chainmail suit.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
That's what it seemed like. Totally. But I love that the package that she wrapped it in kind of looked like the shape of his head.
See, I was wondering whether it was like a helmet that fit over his head.
They showed a lot of little rings.
Mando helmet with the ears built into it.
I think it's a Beskar or something.
Yeah,
or other.
I assumed
a chainmail, something or other. Okay, anything else on this? Because we can go all night on this.
Couple more points. I loved that there was the droid that made him take all of his weapons and put them in the cargo container. That was the droid that used to be the pilot of Star Tours. I just love that was that actual droid. That was the Rex droid.
Okay.
He's
still taking ladies. Go ahead, keep going.
I love that when he was on the space bus, we actually finally saw a green Rodian, because they've had all these pink and other colored Rodians, but we hadn't seen an actual green Rodian.
Cool.
Yeah. I love that when he went back to Pelimoto's repair shop.
He knows her name. Todd, do you know that woman's name?
I call her Amy Sedaris, but that's just me.
Pelly. Look, listen. Of the three of us, I'm obviously the bigger Star Wars fan. We know that. So
that's not true.
Don't try to nerd shame me.
You've got the nerd
Barry,
wrapped up. Just don't let Maria listen to this.
What's the make of Darth Vader's shuttle?
Sleeping in the garage.
I don't know the make of Darth Vader's shuttle. Darth Vader's
I knew that's my one thing. I knew the Lambda class shuttle. I knew this and you didn't. So
yeah, that's right.
That's right. So,
okay.
So don't
couple more things.
You know all this. You get the lock on all this stuff because I shamed you on the Lambda class shuttle.
A YouTube video on Easter eggs, but keep going.
I know an awful lot of this stuff. The little droid that she was chasing around, that's actually the droid from the Jedi Fallen Order game. That is like the main character's droid, which was kind of cool to see in real life.
Not really. I like the droid. Who cares about video games? When
the Mando was fixing up the ship and the droid helped him, he actually thanked the droid, which he hated droids in the first season. Like, wouldn't he? Like, he was downright belligerent about how much he hated droids, and now he's thanking droids. That shows progress in his character.
What have you done for me lately? Yes, exactly.
It shows growth in his character. I thought that was good. Yep. I like that they gave a name to that pole that Han and Luke used to try to stop the Death Star compactor walls from closing.
The thing that he put in that makes the thing faster, like the cold whatever, is the pole from the trash compactor.
Same pole from the trash compactor.
He's also walked by one of those. He walked by one of those in an alley in the first episode.
But now it has a name. It's a cryogenic density combustion booster. Now we know that.
I got one downstairs in my garage. So
yeah. I like that when he finally got the ship working, he went through the pod race course, and we saw some of the same things.
I knew I was watching that thinking Barry's excited right now for this.
I don't get how he has like a one-person ship.
My least favorite moments in my entire series.
And when he lands the ship, he says it was Wizard, which is
like
what
the kid says when Andy with his pod racer.
This was all stuff, but maybe the creepiest weirdest
kid. No, sorry, yeah.
The creepiest, weirdest part of the whole thing was when Pelimoto was talking about that she dated a Jawa once and that they're furry. That was creepy.
Yeah.
We didn't need to know that.
The pod race
they might say the same about her. So, what's with the little bubble? Is that where Grogu's going to sit?
That's Grogu's port. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
they were put a droid back there. But what if he has a bounty?
This is what I said. I'm watching. I'm like, this guy kind of rounds up people for a living. What do you do? Like freeze them in carbonite and then tractor them?
I don't know that this is going to be his permanent ship. I got to be honest, because he can't sleep on that one the way he can't.
Yeah,
it's not a cruiser
that you can relax on.
What was the Razor Crest considered? I think it was considered a gunship, so it's not like that kind of a ship.
But it was big. It was
big enough. Yeah.
I will say this is cool. Okay, and they made this cooler than I thought those ships ever were, and I think it's going to be a very useful thing to have. But he needs something where this is parked in the shuttle bay.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's going to get very tight in there fast.
What I thought was really interesting,
we gotta get going.
I know, I'm almost done.
Keep going.
If you look on that toy from episode 1, you could not give that thing away a week ago. And now they're selling loose for like $85 and boxed for like $200.
We know someone who owns one of those in what is it, like 6 feet long, right?
Oh, the big one, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I was thinking about that as I was watching. It's like, yes, yeah, we do. And I was thinking, boy, if he still has that, that would go for a pretty penny right now.
What's that? The one that like Captain Typho flew? Is that what that is?
That's the one that Anakin.
This was a Toys R Us display thing, right?
No, I'm saying whose ship? Anakin flew
it's a Naboo Royal fighter, but that's the same ship, same model ship that Anakin flew as a little kid.
Yeah.
In episode 1, when he inadvertently blew up the
it was yellow
ship.
Though.
Yeah, it was. Well, this one was yellow too. It was just beat up, and then he stripped the yellow
I will
paint
say,
down.
as they're doing this, I'm like, please scrape all the yellow off and just leave it silver like the Razor Crest. I like the little bits of yellow left behind. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Dave's getting ready to explode. We need to move on.
Whatever. The nice thing about this episode to me, forgetting for a minute that it was not at all a Boba Fett episode, was that it really touched on stuff from all eras of Star Wars, which it's nice to see that they're
as a Mando episode. This is like a 9 out of 10. I think it's great.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's great.
Totally.
And I have no complaints about that whatsoever. I just think, and they covered a ton of ground. I like the characters. Everything about it. It's just a weird place to put a Mando episode.
Can't argue there.
Boba Fett, yeah. Boba Fett was nowhere to be found, so yeah. Agreed. Okay. This will be a long one, people, so strap in. All right.
Boba Fett needs your help. He gets squeezed out of this episode. Come on.
What do you want to do next? I'll let you guys decide.
We'll palate cleanser with what's in the box, and then we'll go to the...
Okay,
sure,
let's do it.
Sure. I'm not doing what's in the box, but I have something else. But let's do what's in the box. Todd, what's in the box?
This is a Captain Marvel pager.
Sweet.
Made by Hot Toys. And you push a little button, and it lights up. I don't know if you can see that. It lights up, and the blinky lights, and...
Hot Toys makes that?
Hot Toys makes it. See? It's right... Oh, wait a minute.
I knew that they had announced they were doing it. I didn't know it ever actually came out.
So, this is worth easily a third what I paid for this.
It's upside down, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
It's worth a third what you paid for.
Easily a third what I paid for this thing. Okay.
Looking at mine.
It's upside down. How is it upside down when... Really? That's upside... I don't think that's upside down.
I built mine. It goes the other way.
No, if her logo is red over blue, how would that be upside down? You have yours upside down. Or you put the
You might have put the sticker.
You put it together backwards. But I'm telling you, her
always
logo
thought
is
that
red
was
at
the
the top,
bottom.
blue in the bottom. So,
okay. Anyway,
yes. In any case, but it's kind of cool. It just was like, it was kind of an impulse buy. I was buying something else from Sideshow when I bought this, and it was like, yeah, okay, I've wanted one of those. Yeah, it's kind of cool. It looks good. And
every picture they show.
Yeah.
You have it upside down. If her logo must be blue over red, because every picture I'm looking of is got it the other way.
Okay. No, well, I'm looking at her uniform here, and it's red over blue.
Well, that's not how they show this pager. Even when it's on the ground after it falls out of.
Todd,
his
after
hand.
the show, you need to tell us what you paid for it, because now I'm really curious.
Yeah. Anyways, like I said, easily worth a third of what I paid for it. So. Yeah. Is that better, Dave?
Does it feel like an accurate prop
I'm just
replica?
saying that's
it
what
weighs
they're showing.
Nothing.
Even in
weighs
the Hot Toys
They
ad.
did a good job painting it. It's detailed well. The lights blink and stuff. And there's a little, kind of like a tiny little LED screen kind of thing. And it's got a button that kind of works. But it's a pretty basic thing. And I guess a lot of the cost went into the licensing. So, it sits so well upside down. It stands up in the case perfectly upside down, apparently. But it is what it is. Okay.
Dave's texting us pictures.
That's the ad for it. Or something.
Barry, what's in the box?
Okay. As you guys both know, and I think maybe I mentioned on the show, I was supposed to go to Florida, and we were supposed to go to Galaxy's Edge. And the one thing I really wanted to look for while I was there was Rey's lightsaber, but we canceled our trip. Our good friend Brian Mix did, when he found out I couldn't go, went to Disneyland and got me Rey's lightsaber.
Oh, we did.
So awesome. I just got it in the mail the other day.
I have to get that too.
I gotta say, it's freaking heavy as hell. This thing is a blunt object. You could kill somebody with it. But the weathering on it, it's got real cloth and like leather wraps around the middle of it. There's like rust stains on it, and I mean, it really, really super detailed. These top fins actually move, and I've got a blade here I could pop in.
It looks in the movie. It's more black, I think.
Lights up yellow.
Yellow, that's cool.
So it's cool. But it is, it's a great saber. Really great hilt. I've got to figure out where I'm going to display it, but. I mean, I just love that she made it from the staff that she was carrying since the first movie. It just really has that weathered, aged look to it. It's a great saber. So thank you again, Brian.
Very cool.
I've already thanked you
That's cool. Yeah, I got to get one of those
through text, but I appreciate it, and it's awesome. So, and from what I hear, the Galaxy's Edge in Florida is completely out of stock of all sabers. So even if I had gone, I probably wouldn't have gotten it because they have had shipping issues. So anyway, Dave. You're not doing what's in the box. What are you...
I'm not doing what's in the box. I have a what's on my workbench.
Okay.
And this is something... I said I was 3D printing something, and this is what it was. I have to... Can you guys see this?
Oh, damn.
Wait a second. Yeah.
So here is... It is the...
Pym Arrow. Oh, that's...
Pym Arrow.
Oh, that's great. Are you going to hold up 2 more of them? Please hold up 2 more of them.
I'm not.
How many hours of printing was that?
It was. Oh, well, the printing takes forever, but it's not. It's not. That's not the problem. It's just. See, it's upside down, but. So, it's too. Wait, let me lower the lights.
Now, did you design that head?
No, I actually.
Oh, it lights up,
of course.
Todd's very unhappy with you right now.
I am very unhappy with you right now. You didn't even like this goddamn show. You had to be building that before the show, while you were still disliking the show.
I just started building it this week.
Okay.
I did like it. I didn't love the first 2 episodes, but I loved it. It's my favorite Marvel show so far.
It's the best Marvel show. But that is awesome.
I'm not saying I'm done. This is a prototype. Now, I could make more.
Is the shaft of that 3D printed as well, or is that...
No, God, no.
I was going to say, that would be impossible.
And buy a $6 arrow.
Yeah.
But the feathers look purple. Did you find something with the
I painted them.
fleshings that were purple? Or did you paint that?
I painted it. So this arrow...
Nice.
So this is an aluminum arrow shaft I got at Dick's. It was $6. It was like camouflage, so I painted it, and the feathers were...
Fletching.
Green and white, so I painted them. I have 2 black and 1 purple. But so I had seen it. Some guy was selling 3D plans for it, and I was going to buy it, but it looked a little out of scale. So first thing I do is go to Thingiverse. Someone had it on Thingiverse. It's in 3 pieces. Let me put this down. And that was out of scale too, so I scaled that down. I printed one at the regular scale. It was way too big. I scaled it down, and it was 80%. It was fine. So so here's the bottom. It's sort of designed to put electronics in. I just have a piece of red tape because this is the one I wasn't going to use. So it's got this, and then it's got a the top, well, obviously I printed this in black because when I printed the one in gray, but the light shows through the gray.
Yeah.
And then I've got clear resin, and you put this little thing inside so that it glows blue through the thing. So these things fit together. See,
cool.
This is fascinating for people on the
who can't see any of this at all. But
you'll have to post pictures.
But if you honestly, if you're watching this, you'd want one as much as I do. This is very cool.
So the problem is how to get this together that it's not glued permanently. Because I redesigned it a little bit in Tinkercad, and then I also made a whole little thing to put batteries and an LED from a little squeeze light that worked out. But I'm curious if you want to take. What I'd love is a little thing to clip these together. Because right now
magnets. You got to do it with.
Could you thread it so that you can screw it on? And
I would love to have this threaded.
That's so tricky with these things.
Yeah, but what I did was instead of gluing, I have double-sided tape between these 2 parts. I mean, it actually works. It holds them together, and then the mechanism to light them up, I have like a pressure switch that's at the end of where the arrow goes in, so the light is sitting in basically this hole.
Yep.
With a button down there, so you literally just
push on the
twist it so it goes in just a little more and lights up. But
that's a pretty ingenious way to do it.
I bet if we sent those plans to Sean could make that threaded. He could add a threaded thing to that.
I was hoping you can. You're better in Tinkercad than I am.
It's just threads are. I've tried making threaded.
I don't even know if it needs to be threads. It just needs to be a notch or something that holds it.
I've tried making threaded parts stick together, and it's just so hard.
What I would love to have is one of these parts, probably this bottom part. See how it's angled here. Have a lip that comes straight up. That could but then this part's angled.
Dave, let's look at the other arrows. I'll design another arrowhead.
What's that going to do for us?
I'm saying, let's make a couple different ones. I think that'd be cool.
Oh. I mean, I can make more of these. This one was I thought it came out fine. And
no, I'm saying in addition to that one, let's make it so we have
there's a guy, the guy who sells the 3D plans that I didn't buy has 3 arrows on the plans.
That's what I'm saying. I think we should design.
You need to paint that though, in an aluminum paint or something, so that it
is.
Oh,
this is painted in aluminum.
Oh, okay. Paint. From here, it looked like it might have just been gray, the gray plastic.
No. It's definitely looks aluminum. But I don't like the seam. That's the only problem. I was going to just glue this together, but then you'll never get at in case the batteries run out.
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
Well done, though. Very well done.
Yeah, it came out. I mean, one of the hardest things they had to do on their file, I'm sure this is boring as hell for everybody, this plastic part was super thin to the point where you would touch it and it would crack. I had to make this thicker in Tinkercad. That was no easy feat. And I had to make this was hollow. I had to make this solid. So that was, but most of the hard work's done. So anyway, that's what's in the box,
Very
that's
cool.
what's on my
That's
workbench.
great.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Yeah, I was happy to find the arrows. You can get them at Walmart or wherever too, I'm sure.
Probably get them on Amazon too, right?
I don't know. The shipping was... I don't know that they have them, but any Walmart or Dick's has them. So, okay. Boy, let's go rewatch. Insert bumper here, perhaps. Maybe not.
Then there's Pretty Woman. Hated it.
Regular Joe's Rewatch.
All right, so you rewatched Dark Fate, Terminator Dark Fate.
Every time I kept going to Amazon Prime, I would see it there. And I kept saying to myself, I hated that movie. I really hated that movie. And one day, it was, I don't know, around the holidays, I was bored. My wife was doing something. I was watching TV by myself. And I said, you know what, let me just put on the first few minutes. Because I remember the thing I hated the most about that movie and what set me off from scene one
was the newt thing.
Yeah, the fact that, the entire Terminator 2, the purpose of one of my all-time favorite movies was to save John Connor, and then they just kill him at the beginning of this movie.
Yeah, but it didn't take away from Terminator 2. That still accomplished what it accomplished. You just had this weird erotic love affair for that kid.
For John, no, that's definitely not what it was. But it annoyed me, and it really set off my ability to enjoy that movie. Now, I also do have to say, for a really long time, I thought you guys were both full of shit, and that you hated the movie as much as I did, but that it was fun for you to pretend that you like. I'll be very honest. I really thought you guys were fucking with me.
In all honesty, we may have dialed up a little bit.
How much you liked it? I just rewatched it, and I like it. It's well done.
It is the third best Terminator film. Okay?
I would, for sure.
Okay?
Third,
it is
for sure.
Without question, the third best, in my mind, the third best Terminator. It's hugely enjoyable. I liked it better the second time. Okay? I did too. I think both Dave and I slightly exaggerated our enthusiasm. we were making it sound like it was the greatest thing ever.
Which is probably why I started to feel like you guys were pulling my leg. But there was a huge gulf
between our experience and your experience.
But I also would say, this is too dark. I would say if you're putting the Terminator movies in a bundle of good and bad, this sits in the good bundle.
There's three
with
that you
the
need
first
to watch,
and second one,
and the rest you can ignore.
And the third,
this actually works as a trilogy
fourth,
this way.
Fifth, stink.
Well, and especially the way that they start this one with John, on the beach with his mother, and he gets killed. Like it basically negates everything after Terminator 2. Like you can't really even include them in,
which is not a bad thing.
No, I agree with you there. The rest of the Terminator movies none of them were very good. So here's the thing. I did not hate this movie the second time around.
Did not hate. That's
did not hate this movie.
That's high praise.
I was going to say, if you take the John Connor thing out of it or whatever, I gotta say, it's action-packed. It's well done. It's edge of your seat stuff. The
action
characters are all
is
good.
Fantastic. It's
fantastic.
Great.
The first fight scene into car chase is amazing.
It's amazing.
It's great.
And I will also say that the John Connor scene, as jarring as it is fantastic. Okay.
Oh, they did a great job on the CG of it.
The de-aging of them and
CG?
the recreating of him
put them in
is so good that, I mean, it's meant to be her memory of that moment, but it is done so well that, again, I think I thought that was great. That was great.
My only real criticism of it is it's a little too much on the nose with the girl power thing. And I get that was what they were going for.
I will completely disagree with you on that, Barry. I think this is how it should be done. Because honestly, I watched my way through this film before it occurred to me that principally this was a female-led film. They were not hammering us over the head with it.
Not like in Endgame when all the female
exactly. It wasn't, it wasn't other things where they've, the Ghostbusters movie or whatever like this, where it's just been very, very deliberate and they were out front with it. It was these three women worked together very, very well. He was a peripheral character they brought in. I had no problem with that whatsoever.
And
I thought
all
it
good.
seemed.
I mean,
in fact, I will say this: one of the elements I liked best was Linda Hamilton unable to see beyond her own position in this narrative, where she could only see the young woman as an analog to her and not as an analog to her son.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought that was very daring because it made it clear that this was of a different era, and I really like that element a lot. I also, and this the Grace character was the analog to the Michael Mann character. This was a person who loved it. Came back in time.
I think she was Reese and Arnold from
right, but what I'm saying is she was the one who sacrificed her life, took this one-way trip because of her love for this person and devotion to this person. I think all the characters fit.
I think the more you see this, watching again, you really get all that stuff. I enjoyed it. It's really good.
And I have to say, I did not, and I just don't know if it was that I was so put off by that it just made it difficult for me to really enjoy the film the first time I watched it. But
at this point in this series, in a series like this, if you can't be a little self-effacing, okay, and you can't poke a little humor at yourself, I think when she said, "I'll be back," and then she said, "I'm never gonna fucking call you Carl," and so she was so good. She was almost like a parody of herself, but also a perfect. This is who this would be. This person's entire life was consumed by this. I love the idea of his seeking atonement by being her informant for all those years. Yeah. And the For John thing, okay? And that being his dying words as if in fact you refer to as dying, but, as his existence is ending and he says, "For John," I was great. I really did. I liked it more.
In the new Terminator, they did something different with the Terminator. How it separates out from the endoskeleton to the. I thought that was cool. That was at least they had, they were able to mix it up a little bit.
And it's like every one of these it's like an AI. Every generation learns, and every generation is more advanced than the other. And I thought he did a great job. He's not a physically menacing person, and I thought that even Robert Patrick is more. It's just he has a look to him where he's very determined and whatnot. I think that worked really well. I think it was you could totally look at this guy and misjudge him, and to your benefit. But Barry, I'm really glad you turned around somewhat on this because, like I said, I think there's a lot good here. When the other ones you can pick and choose and say this was okay and this was okay and this was okay. The other sequels.
No, there's not. I mean, I don't mind the third one. There's some okay stuff. The one with what's his face, Christian Bale, is just unmemorable, and then that Genesis is just.
See, and that's the thing. I have seen all those movies. One. I can't think of anything that any way that I connected those movies the way I do this one And
you like the Christian Bale one?
I like the Christian Bale one. The problem with the Christian Bale one was it was a third of a movie. They intended it to be a trilogy. They literally stopped that movie in the middle and never went back and finished any of it. So
it was a little all over the place. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the Emilia Clarke one is a disaster.
Oh, that's awful. But I don't mean to harp on it, but the action is good throughout. The storyline is not just bland. It keeps going. It's really, I think it honors the Terminator series and really redeems after like three kind of not great movies.
This guy's directed 2 movies. Daredevil. I almost said Daredevil.
Daredevil, yeah.
Not Deadpool and this. Okay.
Oh, he did Deadpool?
He did Deadpool.
Oh, Jesus.
He did Deadpool in this.
This is a well put together movie.
And I think it's this.
Well, Cameron was involved in some degree too, wasn't he?
Right.
He was
so, yeah.
executive
But
producer.
again, this thing was nonstop action. This was more kinetic than I think any that. There was very little downtime in this film, and they carried it
all
off
the characters.
really, really
the girl
well.
played Danny was great. Mackenzie Davis was great.
The
Terminator. I know it's us talking about it, but Barry, this is more about you.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
No, look, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it as much as you did the second time around.
More.
I don't expect we're going to find very many movies that go through this process with us that everybody liked. So the fact that I'm coming around on it, I don't see Dave ever changing his opinion on anything. So we'll see how that goes.
I don't believe so. I don't believe so.
But yeah, I wanted to hate it as much the second time through, and I couldn't. So I guess it's good. I guess I now have another Terminator movie I can say I like. But
it's a shame it didn't do well at the box office. It is really. I mean, you got three. It is a great third part of that trilogy.
And
that's
it's
so
one of those
different.
things where you can take it or not take it. You can say, okay, this is I can end with 2, or I can watch this one. I don't have any desire to go back and rewatch any of those other 3 films.
No.
There were bits and pieces in each one of those films that worked, but not memorable enough as a whole that I care about any of those films. I see this as really the kind of drawing it back together thing, and I think you remove. I think it's clear if you remove one person from the timeline, someone else is going to step in. Someone's going to step in and step up, and I like how they did it. I mean, I just like the film, and I don't see this the way this is rated. I think it could, it's it should be a more highly rated film. I think people are just fatigued of this franchise.
I think that could definitely be it.
They used Arnold perfectly in this, and they used Linda Hamilton perfectly in this.
Yeah.
And whereas in the Arnold in the previous one just was totally misused, and this I think worked really well.
Yeah, I mean in the one with Christian Bale, I mean the Arnold sequence was the best sequence in the movie.
It was, and it was, but yes, it was. You're talking about
that thing was messy. That was messy.
And
anyway,
but like I said, I love the humor. I love and it's Texas. It was a great line. The the fact that he's a drapery guy. I love the scene where he's talking about picking the wrong drapes.
Yeah. Polka dots and butterflies.
It's like, I thought he wanted to put a solid colored drapes in his daughter's bedroom. It's like, no, you need balloons or unicorns. It's just like, it's so good.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you've not seen or you thought it sucked, go check it out. It is a solid movie.
It is.
Solid action-packed movie.
And it gets better with subsequent rewatchings. So.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I don't hate it anymore. So
okay,
there you have it.
All right, we're going to do this again.
When they release it in the next version, that's going to be in quotes. I didn't hate it, Barry K., the Rego Joe's podcast, right on the back.
I don't hate it anymore.
I don't hate it anymore.
That's even better.
Yep.
All right. Well, you've got plenty of show here today, everybody. We're all over the place. Lots of stuff. Next time, I don't know. We'll probably do a Hot Toys Minute. We'll do something else. So we'll probably go over this Boba Fett weekly in the next 2 episodes.
I feel like that's inevitable.
It's going to be one of those things. What else do we got? Anything else coming out soon?
A lot soon.
Well, Snowpiercer is back. I'll let you know what I think of that when I start watching the new season.
Jack Reacher, I think, comes out this week.
That's good. I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm gonna watch that. I started. Well, I'm not. We'll go. There's more stuff coming. We'll talk about it. Okay. That's plenty.
Yes.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.